Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Destructive News Network news, no matter how destructive. And we've got a story out of Gwinnett County. There's a Demia Mitchell. This is not a young man. This is a young woman that wants to live the thug life, wants to live life like a thug dude. But she got the reward. She got what she asked for. Let's take a look at the pre-story, and then we'll take a look at the aftermath, the good stuff.
And right now, police continue searching for a 17-year-old girl wanted for murder. The deadly shooting happening in Dacula. Gwinnett County Police say they have warrants out for Demia Mitchell. The warrants are for felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm by a person under the age of 18. Police believe she and another woman got into a fight Sunday afternoon at a home on Mountain Ash Court. The argument ended in gunfire. The other woman was killed.
So let's go ahead and check out what brought us here. Let's take a look at this story here. Gwinnett girl sentenced to 140 years after shooting a woman to death. The family is shocked by this. 140 years. That's more than the lifespan of a human being, and she deserves it. So let's take a look at the story here. Gwinnett, Georgia, Gwinnett County. A Lawrenceville judge handed out a 140-year sentence to a Gwinnett teen on Monday after police said she shot and killed a woman in 2021. Prosecutors say Demia Mitchell, 17, fired up to 19 shots at a home on Valentine's Day in 2021, killing Faith Burns in a Dacula area subdivision. Police said that Mitchell and Burns did not know each other, but that Burns knew Mitchell's ex-girlfriend. So it's a group of LGBT teens that are living life as super savages and getting in the mix-up, and they got what they wanted. They wanted to live life like little boys. They wanted to live life like thug dudes, vampires, and they got it. They got what they asked for. Mitchell had sent texts to her ex-girlfriend that she planned to shoot up her house and jump her. Police said Burns just happened to be the ex-girlfriend's home when Mitchell and 4 other girls showed up at the house and started shooting. Prosecutors argued that the shooting was gang-related ex-lovers' quarrel. The 4 other girls who went to the home were charged along with Mitchell. But Mitchell's family said her sentence is too much. It's too much. Channel 2, Gwinnett County Borough Chief Tony Thomas has been following the story since it broke in 2021. Mitchell's family said the 17-year-old had no record and insisted that she wasn't the shooter. I just know something needs to be done. What they did in court wasn't right, Vanisha Jackson, Mitchell's mother, said. Of course, they all got different last names. She is not the shooter. She didn't do this. Mitchell's aunt, Lena Hall, said a 140-year sentence would rob her of her life. Yes, like she robbed the other girl of her life. No record, a child. She won't even get the opportunity to live her life, have her own kids. Hall said, no, she should be taken out of the gene pool. She should be taken out of society permanently. Prosecutors painted a very different picture of Mitchell, calling her a killer who was tied deeply to the street gang life. The jury didn't convict Mitchell of murder, instead opting for voluntary manslaughter, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and 8 counts of street gang terrorism. I like that charge. Georgia's got it going on, man. They know what to do. Street gang terrorism. Man, if they charged that charge on people in these Democrat-run cities, the streets would be clean. It would take about a summer or 2, and the streets would be cleaned up, man. People be holding hands in the street, singing the Smurf song, dancing. Oh man, it would be great. The jury found she wasn't carrying a gun, and she was not declared guilty of 2 other gang charges. Another of Mitchell's aunts, identified only as Dory, said her niece had known the girls involved in the fight since elementary school. They've always hung out together, so it's not like they are in a gang, she said. They are a group of girls who like hanging out and doing typical things. Typical things like shooting up a Valentine's Day party and killing people because they broke up with you. Prosecutors show the jury videos and text. They say prove the teens were tied to a violent gang and had a history of organizing street fights. That's a big thing. That's a big thing in the community. Kids organizing over Snapchat, organizing over Facebook, Twitter, going to a public place, and then having series of fights, just like that amusement park in California. I think it's called Knott's Farm. They were doing that there. They were organizing, going to this park, and then brawling at the park just to be seen. The family plans to protest at the county courthouse tomorrow. According to the district attorney's office, the other 4 defendants in the case have yet to go to trial. They should be contacting their lawyers right about now. But let's take a look at the video. Let's see what's going on here.
The family is asking for help after their teenage daughter was sentenced to prison for more than 100 years.
Oof.
Prosecutors call it an example of what can happen if you get caught up in a gang.
Yeah, I like
Gwinnett
it.
County Bureau Chief Tony Thomas is live with
Out in the suburbs.
The family
Out in the suburbs, cutting up.
is now taking Tony.
And Linda, the family is starting with a protest outside of the Gwinnett
Oh,
County
they're
courthouse
protesting.
tomorrow. They're asking for anyone to help.
No,
to take
thank
another
you.
Look at this case. Now, this afternoon, I spoke with the victim's father in this case. He said the family's plea, they should not be surprised at the outcome of the trial, nor the fact that she'll be spending 140 years in prison.
I couldn't believe it. It was like a dream. I couldn't believe it.
Damien Mitchell's mom, Vanessa Jackson, stunned by the
Go
massive
back. Let's go. I couldn't believe
in
it.
prison.
This is Count Dracula, the vampire in the flesh. Look at this weave. Look at that glue. We got the twin glue sisters over here.
It was like a dream. I couldn't believe it.
Damien
That glue. That's where she went wrong. She was a little kid there. That's where she was a little kid. And that glue just seeped into her brain and just had her doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Mitchell's mom, Vanessa Jackson, stunned by the massive prison sentence her daughter faces. She and her sisters say it's simply
Oh, it's funny.
unjust.
It's funny. Why they laughing and giggling though? If it's so serious.
Simply unjust.
Why they all no dads, there's no men in any of the lives of any of these people. Hair helmet. She looked like she got her natural hair. Come on, man. Straight hair helmets. And why they all LGBT, huh? Why is there so many LGBT children in these families in Atlanta? I don't get it.
That's
140
unacceptable.
years.
We want fair judgment, and that's what we're seeking.
140
She got
years
fair
is
judgment.
Just outrageous.
The family plans to take their anger to the courthouse steps Tuesday.
We're begging anyone who can look into it to give her a second chance.
Prosecutors say Mitchell
That's what she looked like today. She had you seen that picture where she was with her mom and they were looking, she just looked like a little girl. Now she looked like Charvarius Jenkins, the street dude. You don't get to be a gangster in these streets. And then when you get caught up in something, convert back to a little kid. That's not how it works. You are not a teen. You are 18. You are an adult. When you were 17, you were doing adult stuff. It's time to face reality.
pulled the trigger up to 19 times in this 2021 Valentine's Day
19
shooting that killed Faith
shots.
Byrne. 4 other girls are also charged in what authorities believe was also gang-related. Investigators say they found videos and texts showing a history of street fights.
They
And
had
that's what got 'em.
friends, you know, boyfriends, you know,
Yeah,
that
okay.
were possibly affiliated with gang, but that did not make them gang members.
Yes, it
17.
does. If your boyfriends, I don't know why they're saying boyfriends. We all know that them dudes are not their boyfriends. Those gangs use people under the age of 18 to commit violent street crimes, to shake up communities. That's what this is about. They use those girls, they train those girls in the arts of gang life and gang culture. They use them because they're called crash dummies. They act just like crash dummies. They test the car out to see what would happen so the people that design the car don't have to die or get hit with 140 years. So what they do is they get kids, they get flunkies, or what the streets call crash dummies, to go on crash dummy missions. You want to prove yourself, you want to be bad to the gang, You got beef with this chick? Go shoot the party up. Go shoot up the party. And they went and did it. They found text messages proving that they are indulged in a street activity, street life, street gang, terrorism, all throughout their phones, all in their text messages, all in their group texts. It's solidified. This is a gang family. That's what they do. They terrorize communities. This isn't the streets of Metro Atlanta. This is the county. This is the suburbs. They're trying to reach these suburbs because that is where people are going. They're leaving Metro Atlanta and they're getting into the suburbs. And these street gangs, they want to get out there and establish themselves. This is how they do it.
Years old, 140-year sentence. That's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
That's ridiculous. You're
No,
not
it's
giving
not.
her a chance at life
She
at
does.
all.
That's the whole point. She's not getting a life. She doesn't get to have a life. When you look like this, when you act like this, you don't get a life. You don't get to say, whoops, my bad, I murdered somebody, and then go back and work at Office Depot or Home Depot. That's not how that works. You don't get to establish a family. You get to go live in a cage. That's what you're going to do. You're going to snatch them earrings out. You're going to fix that face, and you're going to be living in a cycle, a 24-hour cycle of being in a cell and being in a public school lunchroom. That's what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
But instead, voluntary manslaughter. They acquitted her of firearms charges and found her guilty of multiple gang violations. Mitchell's family admits she was involved, but says she deserves a second chance.
Nope.
They actually said in the courtroom that they're going to make Damia an example.
Yeah, it should.
Faith's father told me by phone this afternoon that Faith just happened to be
Faith was the girl that they killed.
over at a mutual friend's house when this shooting took place, and she didn't know any of those involved.
So she gets to die because of street activity, and she had no connection to it. She didn't know any of those people. She didn't know what was happening, but she ended up dying terribly, killed, taken out. Her family fractured, destroyed forever because they want to play street gangs.
4 other girls charged in this crime have yet to go to trial. Live in Gwinnett County, Tony Thomas, Channel 2 Action News.
So let's go ahead and take a look at another video that I think is pretty funny, with the family again crying about the consequences of this gangster, this super savage's actions.
New at 5, the family of a Gwinnett County woman sentenced to 140 years in prison is outraged tonight. They say prosecutors are making an example of 18-year-old Damia Mitchell, who was convicted of manslaughter last week.
But the family of the 20-year-old woman who was shot and killed on Valentine's Day last year has a different perspective. Fox 5's Portia Bruner joins us from the live desk with more. Portia?
Yeah, Faith Burns grew up in Grayson, playing soccer and hanging out with her friends. Her father told me this afternoon she was at her girlfriend's home in Decula on Valentine's Day of 2021 when the girlfriend's ex-girlfriend showed up with a bunch of friends who opened fire that day. Now, Faith died on Valentine's Day 2021 at the hospital. 5 women were ultimately
the shorty want to be a thug.
Charged. Teenagers, in fact, just young women. Damia Mitchell chose to go to trial for felony murder. Last week, the jury convicted her of
She took it to trial. She said she ain't plead now. She about to take it to trial.
Manslaughter.
And got
not
cooked.
Felony murder, but manslaughter, aggravated assault, and street gang activity. And her family was stunned when she was sentenced to 140 years in prison last Wednesday, even though she was a first-time offender. They held a protest outside the Gwinnett County Courthouse today, demanding a new trial with a new judge and a different look at the evidence in the case. But Faith's father told me it's really hard to empathize with those demands given his family's loss.
LGBT, man. This is ironic.
You chose the wrong person to make an example.
No, they didn't. They got the right person.
Out of when she doesn't have.
I like how all the pictures and stuff and all the things that they have. She's like this sweet, young, teenager. She's got her little afro puffs. She's just a little schoolgirl. But in the mugshot and all the new stuff, the new photos that are out there, she looked like a young super savage. It's hilarious. And look at the pride. This is irony man. He is here. He's
the
flying
case.
around.
But Faith's father told me it's really hard to
LGBT
empathize
chair.
with those demands given his family.
Fair trial. She got a fair trial. She got 140 years for standing like this. What? Huh? She murdered someone in cold blood, an innocent person that had nothing to do with anything. She shot the house up. Said they shot about 20 shots into the house. They came to the house to terrorize the people in that home. And that fool out there standing
You
with a
chose the
sign.
wrong person to make an example out of when she doesn't have no prior history of anything. She has not been in and out of your court system, so we're just confused on how she get 140 years.
She's not in no game.
140 years.
And she's not in the game.
She's in
Me
the
and my
game.
family, we dealing with a life sentence without our daughter.
Yeah.
So
She gone.
I mean, you still have
forever.
opportunity to speak and see each other.
Yep. They can go down to the facility and go see her. They can send her money, chat on the phone with her, send her emails, video mail, voicemail. She's gone. She is out of here. She's never coming back. That's what that family's got to deal with.
I don't have that opportunity to speak and see my daughter.
And Mr. Burns says Faith was a beautiful young lady who loved her family and friends and was trying to figure out where she was going to attend college after being accepted at the Citadel, among other schools. And the 4 other teenage girls accepted plea deals with the DA for their roles in the shooting that day. Each were convicted of aggravated assault and sentenced to 10 years in prison with anywhere from 2 years to 4 years to serve.
Yep, they're gonna get out. There's a couple of those girls that took the deal. That's why she just got bad legal advice, man. Those girls took those deals. They got sentenced to 10 years each. You know, they're not gonna do 10 years. They're gonna do as little as 2 years. And a lot of the girls are down a year already. They got a year served. They go on good behavior. They might get downgraded, moved to a lesser secure facility, might even get moved to a halfway house or a home where they can do things like work a job. They're going to get their lives because, one, they don't deserve it, but that's the way the legal system works. They're going to get out. They're going to be out in like a year. Some of them are going to be out in a year, some a couple of years, maybe 3 years. But there are going to be some of those girls are going to be walking out of jail, prison in a year from this day, a year. And then that girl got 140 and they're salty about it because she took her case to trial. I have no idea why she would do that. I don't know what legal representation this girl had, but it was bad.
Mitchell family insists Demia's sentence should be more in line with those sentences.
No.
DA Patty Austin
Nope.
Ganson
She didn't take a
declined
deal.
to comment on the details of this case this afternoon, saying the jury's decision and the judge's sentence speak for themselves. At the live desk, Portia Bruner, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, so that's what happens. And here's another irony piece that we have to deal with all the time is vampires love being involved in the legal system, but don't know anything about the legal system and refuse to learn about the legal system. That is what happens when you don't take a plea deal. When you are faced with all types of evidence against you, digital evidence from your phones, cooperation and proffer sessions from your co-defendants, eyewitnesses, several eyewitnesses, physical evidence stacked against you, and you go to trial. I don't know why or who recommended to this girl to go to trial, but they were in the wrong. They led this one astray. There is so many opportunities for criminals, including gang members, to get out of jail or not even serve any jail time often, especially in this prison reform world that we live in right now. And this idiot took it to trial and she lost big. I actually hope they do give her another trial and they sentence her to a 240 years because she's freaking stupid. Her family is stupid. They need to send a message. They need to send a message to the vampire community. If you continue to raise people in these households that act like these people, you are going to start getting triple digit sentences for your crimes. Put them in jail. You know my plan. Put them connect up with Starlink and SpaceX, put them in a capsule and ship them into orbit and just let them float in outer space. That's what I would do. That's my plan. If I was elected any type of a public official, I would run with that. Ship them into outer space. Let's go. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.